Good evening. Thank you for having me at this academic conference. They don't normally happen in pubs, but I'll take what I can get. To be honest, right? I got some research for you. It's my history of cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes!
Anyway, so it's common knowledge by now that the cigarette was invented by Susan's cigarette in 1871. But what is lesser known is there's a history of tobacco smoking through the form of pipes and cigars that goes back way into history. Some scholars have recently come to believe there may be a mistranslation in the Bible, and that the three wise men who visited the baby Jesus when he was born did not bring gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh, but instead brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and a case of fine Monte Cristo Cuban cigars. It's what you get your uncle for his birthday. I do, and my uncle still doesn't know my name. There's many other famous tobacco smokers throughout history, such as Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, Aristotle, and Queen of our hearts, and also Queen of Scots, Mary Queen of Scots. She isn't real or historical, I just left her in because I thought she was pretty. Stop looking. Right, so Susan's cigarette invented the cigarette. The story goes that Susan enjoyed going for brunch with her besties, and she enjoyed smoking a pipe at the same time. However, most brunch establishments considered a pipe to be too large and ungainly for her small and dainty female fingers. And so, as a compromise, Susan invented the beloved cylinder that we all know and treasure today. Now, the 22nd of March 1871 is a historic day. This is the day that a cigarette was first smoked, and it was famously smoked outside the Oaxaca next to the South Bank Centre. There is a blue plaque there, but they keep taking it down. I keep putting it up again, but to be honest, colossal financial expense. This isn't relevant to cigarettes, but you know, some blind people have horses instead of dogs. Kind of crazy. That horse has shoes, like human shoes. Oh wow, pretty cool. Anyway, by 1900, cigarette mania had gripped Europe. Queen Victoria was famously buried in a cigarette-shaped coffin around the time. She loved the durries. However, trouble was just around the corner. When the First World War broke out, people were unable to visit Zante or Malia, and buy cigarettes cheaply from European airports, which they could in turn sell to their mates back down the pub back in Britain. And consumption of cigarettes dropped rapidly. The Daily Telegraph reported in 1914 that Big Ben was visible for the first time in 20 years. Now that the cigarette smog had lifted. In order to combat this, the British government embarked on a massive media public relations campaign to try and encourage cigarette smoking. This is the famous Get Britain Sucking campaign. And this took the form of a series of cigarette-themed radio programs, some of which are still around today and you might recognise. These are programs such as the Cigarette Forecast, which tells you where Britain's courageous sailors are smoking tonight, I guess. Women's Smoking Hour. And in 1915 we get the emergence of one of the great national treasures that is, of course, I'm sorry I haven't a Rizzler. The campaign was a huge success, and Britain did indeed get sucking again, and it continues to suck to this day. Look out the fucking window. Now, just before I go, I'd like to give a quick thanks to NHS Quit Smoking for helping to fund this research. They really don't check what you're doing. Like, they really wouldn't have given me the money if they'd bothered to check. But my thanks to them anyway. I've been J. Byrne.